please welcome back up to the stage, Jasmine Brett Stringer.
This is my friend, Bob. Bob, what's bringing you some joy today?
You do.
Oh, thank you. Oh, wow, I wasn't expecting that. Don't forget I got that envelope for you. You, what's bringing you joy today?
Well, being here with my coworkers.
Being here with your coworkers and someone in the back. Tell me what's bringing you joy today. It's not snowing. Ooh, thank you, thank you. Even Belinda stood up for that. You know, science has proven when we start our day with joy and gratitude, it leads to us living a more positive life. Now, I don't know about you, but I could use all the positivity and inspiration I can get these days because there's so much negativity, it seems like, every time you turn around. Yeah. Carpe diem. Carpe diem. 2 Latin words. Anybody familiar with that phrase? How many people know it? Put your hands up. Let's see. Okay, a lot of people know it. It means seize the day. Robin Williams actually made the phrase really popular in Dead Poet Society. Did you learn it from Dead Poet Society? I know our millennial probably didn't learn it from Dead Poet Society. I actually learned about it in high school in 10th grade English, Miss Robertson's class. And I was an awkward person. I was an awkward teenager. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I was tall. I'm not 6'1", but I was tall. I was lanky. They used to call me Jasmine String Bean. I said I was an awkward black girl before Issa Rae coined the phrase. I always marched to my own beat. And so I learned this phrase and it just resonated with me. Carpe diem, carpe diem. I started using it everywhere. In fact, back in the day when I was growing up, how many people are parents? Your kids probably want a cell phone, right? I wanted my own telephone line. And with my own telephone line that you plugged into the wall, I got an answering machine, and I put Carpe Diem on my answering machine greeting. Hello, this is you-know-who. I'm not you-know-where, but you know what to do, and I'll get back to you, you-know-when. Carpe Diem. And guess what? It's still on my greeting today, Carpe Diem. The greeting has changed, but Carpe Diem is still there. So as a motivational speaker, I love connecting with audiences and sharing my story, my lived experience on how we can seize the day. And I layer that on top of a framework, and it's a really easy framework to apply to your life. There are 4 steps. See it, believe it, work it, and live it. I see some people writing that down. See it, believe it, work it, and live it. So the first step is to see it. You know, I talk a lot about vision. I believe that everything we do begins and ends with the vision that we hold for our lives. Again, I grew up in the South. I grew up in a very religious family. You know, there's a scripture, write the vision and make it plain. So I grew up having goals, having a vision for my life. And I had an opportunity to reflect on my life at the age of 30. It wasn't a letter to my younger self, but it ended up being a letter to my younger self. And at that point, I realized that I had accomplished all the goals that young Jasmine sought out to accomplish by the age of 30. That made me feel really good. I was like, go Jasmine, pat on the back, right? But then something happened. Jasmine stopped having a vision for herself. Jasmine had a great job. Jasmine had friends. I had a condo downtown. I was going on vacation. But you know what the problem was? I was living life on autopilot. Cruise control. Just going with the flow. The only goal I really had was to get promoted and to get a raise, because that's what you do when you work in corporate America. You're on that corporate ladder, get a raise, get a promotion. And then something happened. I was laid off. Yeah, laid off. Anybody been laid off before? Anybody been fired, displaced? Not a good feeling. And I thought, oh my, what am I going to do? And everybody said, Jasmine, you'll get another job and bank that severance. Get another job and bank that severance. That's what I kept hearing. And I said, no, I knew something was off. I'm going to take a little time. I'm going to use this as a gift, a paid time off to think, and I'm going to get in touch with what Jasmine wants for her next step. And so, because I didn't come from a family with a trust fund, I needed to work during that time while I was still trying to see it and get a new vision for my life. And I started consulting. And one day, my client, she was my boss, we had a great meeting. She asked me one question, and I want you to write this question down. She said, Jasmine, what's your secret dream? What's your secret dream? And the question stumped me. And as the extrovert that I am, or the squiggle, if anybody's done the shapes assessment, it's like, ooh, the silence. But I sat there, and she allowed the silence to linger too. And I said, I want to do something in television. I want to do something in television. I don't want to be a chief meteorologist, but I want to do something in television. And all these memories came flushing back, and I said, okay, wow. That was powerful. I see something for myself. I see something for myself. So in this Seize Your Life framework, the next step is to believe it. Anybody read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich? Great book. If you haven't read it yet, you should read it. Write it down. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So this book is loaded with gems. But one of the things that he has you do is state an affirmation. And the affirmation is easy. My faith is so strong, ... And really, it's a belief statement. What do you believe about yourself? Dr. Sindra talked about mindset. What's that mindset? What's the belief that you hold for your life? And so I had to believe that I could be on television in some shape or form. Granted, I didn't go to college for communications, but I was believing it. I'm not a single-digit size. I lived in Minnesota, and at the time there wasn't a lot of diversity on the news. But I was believing in myself and my ability. So the third step when you're trying to seize your life is to work it. Now, that's the hard part. There was this show when I was growing up called Fame, and Debbie Allen was in the show. Yeah, I see somebody smiling about Fame. And she had this staff in the opening. She said, you want fame? Well, fame costs. And right here, right now is where you start paying. Well, in the third step of seizing your life, right here, right now is where you start working. And you have to work. And maybe that work is like you need to start doing some things. Maybe you need to start engaging with your boss more. Maybe you need to start asking for feedback. Maybe you need to start volunteering for extra projects. Or maybe you need to stop doing some things. Or perhaps you've got to continue. I see a lot of women in here, and I'm a woman, and I know that we are often guilty of not telling our story. So perhaps you need to toot your horn. Last night I had the opportunity to go to Orchestra Hall, and I said, everybody's horn or instrument is needed for the melody to be beautiful, for the song to be told. So if you aren't tooting your horn, nobody can hear you. So perhaps you just got to start tooting your horn as you do the work so that you can seize your life. And then finally, you've got to live it. You've got to embody it. You've got to remember that every day I have this vision. I see something. I believe it. I'm doing the work. I'm living it. And guess what? Don't get your life busy. Don't fall victim to autopilot like I did. Get a new vision. Start seeing something new. Believe it, work it, live it. I would love to share my message of Seize Your Life with your audience. I go into a lot more details, but I wanted to make sure I did not get that music on me because I'm a little long-winded. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and more importantly, carpe diem.